Welcome to Hockey with Talks podcast. In this podcast, I'll do a player ranking of the top 60 defensemen in the NHL. In this podcast, I'll be talking about the top 60 defensemen in the NHL heading into the 2024-25 season. The top 10: 1. Cale Makar. 2. Roman Josi. 3. Quinn Hughes. 4. Adam Fox. 5. Victor Hedman. 6. Charlie McAvoy. 7. Rasmus Dahlin. 8. Miro Heiskanen. 9. Josh Morrissey. 10. Jacob Slavin. Cale Makar is currently the best defenseman in the NHL, and he has been for several years now. The gap between him and the rest of the defensemen in the NHL is pretty vast. After Makar, the next best defenseman is the captain of the Nashville Predators, Roman Josi, which might be a surprise for some people, but he has to do more for his team than defensemen like Quinn Hughes or Adam Fox. Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks and Adam Fox of the New York Rangers are two superstar defensemen who put up high offensive numbers and are a key part of their team's core. Not only are they responsible for running their team's power play, but they are relied upon to carry their D-core. Victor Hedman of the Tampa Bay Lightning and Charlie McAvoy of the Boston Bruins are two superstar defensemen whose impact can be felt whenever they are on the ice. They are low-key the MVPs of the respective teams. Rasmus Dahlin of the Buffalo Sabres and Miro Heiskanen of the Dallas Stars are two star defensemen who have potential to be superstars in the league. Dahlin in particular has the potential to be a top 3 defenseman in the league. Josh Morrissey of the Winnipeg Jets and Jacob Slavin of the Carolina Hurricanes are star two-way defensemen who excel at shutting down opposition star players. They round out the top 10. 11 to 20. 11. Noah Dobson. 12. John Carlson. 13. Alex Pietrangelo. 14. Mackenzie Weegar. 15. Drew Doughty. 16. Evan Bouchard. 17. Moritz Seider. 18. Zach Werenski. 19. Dougie Hamilton. 20. Devon Toews. Noah Dobson just misses out on the top 10 and was actually second on the Islanders in points last season and has evolved into an elite offensive defenseman. If he can round out his defensive game, he might be able to crack the top 10. John Carlson has been one of the most reliable offensive defensemen in the NHL the last couple seasons, and I don't expect him to stop as long as he is healthy. There is an argument for him to be in the top 10, but with the emergence of several young defensemen, he has become underrated. Alex Pietrangelo is an elite defenseman for the Vegas Golden Knights, who has the tall task of facing all the star players on other teams, and excels in that regard. Mackenzie Weegar of the Calgary Flames and Drew Doughty of the LA Kings are elite shutdown defensemen, who play heavy minutes for their respective teams and play in all situations. Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers is an elite power play quarterback in the NHL and really benefits from playing alongside the best player in the league, Connor McDavid. But he also has come into his own as an elite defenseman in his own right. Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets and Dougie Hamilton of the New Jersey Devils are both elite offensive defensemen, but they have been hampered by injuries in recent years. When healthy, they should be both higher on this list. Rounding out the top 20 is Devon Toews, who some might say should be higher, but as he gets to play alongside the number 1 ranked defenseman in Cale Makar, it makes his job a lot easier. Regardless, Toews is still an elite two-way defenseman who can be relied upon to go up against the best players in the NHL. And now a word from our sponsor. Check out my scouting blog at hockeywith777scouting.com. Listen to my scouting blog podcast on podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show/hockeywith777scouting. 21 to 30. 21. Morgan Rielly. 22. Erik Karlsson. 23. Gustav Forsling. 24. Jake Sanderson. 25. Noah Hanifin. 26. Shea Theodore. 27. Vince Dunn. 28. Mikhail Sergachev. 29. Philip Pronik. 30. Hampus Lindholm. Morgan Rielly has been the number 1 defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs for years, and while he may receive some criticism for his inconsistent offensive play, he is a great shutdown defenseman first, and the offensive production will come later. Erik Karlsson has been an elite offensive defenseman in the NHL for years, and there are no signs of slowing down now that he is playing alongside some elite talent in Pittsburgh. Gustav Forsling of the Florida Panthers, Jake Sanderson of the Ottawa Senators, and Noah Hanifin of the Vegas Golden Knights are all elite two-way defensemen, but they are known more for their defense than offensive production. Next on the list are Shea Theodore of the Vegas Golden Knights, Vince Dunn of the Seattle Kraken, and Mikhail Sergachev of the Utah Hockey Club, as well as Philip Hronuk of the Vancouver Canucks. All are outstanding offensive defensemen who are borderline elite, but can have some lapses in their defensive game. Rounding out the top 30 is Hampus Lindholm, a steady two-way defenseman on the Boston Bruins, who gets outshadowed by Charlie McAvoy, but is still nonetheless an elite defenseman. 31 to 40. 31, Jonas Brodin. 32, Jacob Chichurin. 33, Chris Letang. 34, Aaron Ekblad. 35, Matthias Ekholm. 36, Brock Faber. 37, Brandon Montour. 38, Brent Burns. 39, Ryan Pulock. 40, Adam Pelech. Jonas Brodin and Jacob Chichurin. Jonas Brodin of the Minnesota Wild and Jacob Chichurin of the Washington Capitals are both great two-way defensemen who get greatly overlooked because they don't put up big offensive numbers, but they are still elite defensemen. Chris Letang's value has greatly diminished now with Erik Karlsson on the team, but he is still a great offensive defenseman when called upon. However, his defensive play has dropped off drastically due to age and injuries. Next on the list are Florida Panthers defenseman Aaron Ekblad, Edmonton Oilers defenseman Matthias Ekholm, and Minnesota Wild defenseman Brock Faber, who all are great two-way defensemen who are known as smooth skaters and are used in all situations. Brandon Montour was outstanding the past 2 seasons in Florida and earned a major payday with the Seattle Kraken. He is expected to be a key cog on their decor alongside Vince Dunn and Adam Larson. Brent Burns may be 39, but he is still an excellent offensive defenseman who still has plenty of gas left in the tank. Burns may not be as an effective 5-on-5 defenseman, but he is still a threat on the man advantage. New York Islanders defensemen Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech round out the top 40. They are a reliable shutdown defenseman for the New York Islanders and have arguably been the most underrated shutdown pair in the league. Check out my hockey blog at hockeywithtalkshockey.blogspot.com. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at hockeywith777. 41 to 50. 41, Travis Sanheim. 42, Owen Power. 43, Colton Parayko. 44, Brett Pesce. 45, Seth Jones. 46, Darnell Nurse. 47, Sean Durzi. 48, Brady Shea. 49, Thomas Harley. 50, Justin Falk. Coming in at 41 is Travis Sanheim, who is an outstanding defenseman who took some time to develop but has now turned into a number 1 defenseman in Philadelphia. Owen Power is overshadowed by the generational talent that is Rasmus Dahlin in Buffalo, but Power is an outstanding defenseman in his own right. Power focuses on being a shutdown defenseman rather than putting up high offensive totals. Colton Parayko is a steady shutdown defenseman, and while he isn't going to be putting up a ton of offensive production, he gets the job done. Seth Jones has become an afterthought since his trade to Chicago, but Jones is still a solid top pair defenseman in the NHL. Darnell Nurse might be the most overpaid second pair defenseman in the NHL, but when you remove the fact that he makes $9 million annually and just look at his regular season play, he has done a solid job on Edmonton's blue line. Sean Durzi emerged as the number 1 defenseman for the Arizona Coyotes last season, and with the addition to Mikhail Sergachev, Durzi should put up higher offensive totals for Utah this season. Brady Shea was a solid second pair defenseman for the Carolina Hurricanes. He joined the Nashville Predators in the offseason and should be a great fit to their decor. Thomas Harley and Justin Falk round out the top 50. Both are offensive-minded defensemen who have top pair upside. 51 to 60. 51, Jared Spurgeon. 52, Rasmus Anderson. 53, Thomas Chabot. 54, Cam Fowler. 55, Ivan Provorov. 56, Dmitry Orlov. 57, Damon Severson. 58, Bowen Byram. 59, Michael Matheson. 60, Keandre Miller. Listen to Hockey With Talks podcast on Podbean and Spotify. In my next podcast, I'll be talking about the top goalies by tiers.